at the other end.
Okay. As part of the things you just said, as you were speaking, I was imagining the fact that safety is a key thing in all of the things you said your reform and transformation is about. And we still have a situation where people have to walk onto the tarmac to board. So when do we expect to see complete end, where you're going to board a plane, you go through a hallway or something that leads you directly into the plane, not that people are milling around or coming off the plane and they have to walk a little distance on the tarmac to get off into the airport.
But very soon, but don't forget, we are treating a dead sector that had been left dead for decades. And so it cannot be done overnight because we don't have the abundant resources to say overnight we should do that. But the plan to do that exists. The resources to do that is something else. And we're coming to that. And I'll tell you right now that come end of January, February, you no longer will see people on the tarmac because it's dangerous. And so we have the apron buses that will convey people from their point of disembarkment to the terminal and vice versa. And so they don't have to. But our people sometimes will not be in compliance, and that's why you have airport security that will mandate everybody to be in compliance. For instance, by end of January, Kano would have had their Aviation bridge. That's what they call it. So you have to walk through that. And Port Harcourt comes next, and then Enugu and Lagos. So first quarter, what you have now will no longer be there. You're going to have a proper Aviation bridge, replacing those ones that are older than some of your cameramen and women.
Okay. Now you mentioned a set of words, and I'll pick one of them, which is resources. There are questions about how you're getting funding for the work that is ongoing. The way to frame the question will be the budget has limitation in terms of what we can budget for the aviation sector. But the Ministry of Aviation has been trying, or most likely has managed, to find ways of resourcing all the projects you're doing. Where do you find the funds from?
Several ways, but most important is that the little we are given, we are very prudent about it. We make sure that we stretch it. We make sure that we micromanage to the extent that we're not careless with our fund usage at all. We recognize that accountability is very key and that people deserve to have value for their money. So we're very, very careful on how we manage our funds. Second is that the agencies are revenue generating, and we try not to spend the habit of the past. You generate and you squander. For me, it's not acceptable. What is generated must go towards at least 60% must be put into infrastructure upgrade and renewal, because that's the goals that lays the golden egg and must be maintained, must be enhanced, must be improved upon. And so we've put in several mechanisms in place. We have also automated our collection system, and so those leakages and little legs and arms, we are closing them up so we can ascertain really what our revenue structures are and apply them how it should be applied. And so in the nutshell is a much enhanced, better financial planning that has given us the yield and will continue to give us the yield.
Is that because you said so, or because it is obvious?
No, because it is obvious, and because we have put in the policy that will ensure that 60 to 60% of the IGR, the total revenue, must go towards infrastructure development and upgrade. That's that. In the past, it was 100% welfare.
Who decides the priorities for these agencies?
Well, majorly government decides. The agency will generate the request on what their priorities are. We will look at it. They will bring it to the ministry for approval. The ministry will take it further for government approval, and then it filters down for them to
Would it be
execute.
right to say the minister decides? If you say the government, because the minister represents the government.
The minister will give the last approval that yes, it is okay, your priorities are right, and it's in line with our master plan, because everything we do must be towards accomplishment of the master plan.
Okay, so when you then look for the future now, when you look towards the future of the sector, what do you expect to see in 2014?
In 2014, we're going to have an almost auto-driven aviation sector. We're going to have a well-repositioned aviation sector that will, for the first time, play its pivotal role, and that is to be the connect, to be the catalyst to the economic growth of the nation. But again, we'll have a very safe, a well-secured aviation sector that we all deserve and desire to have. And the commercial yield of all we are putting together will manifest then.
Okay, just as we're winding up now, a number of questions are coming in through Twitter and other social media. The question they're asking is, the loans and the funds that the Ministry of Aviation and its agencies are taking on, how will it be repaid and at what cost?
For instance, the one we are taking from the Chinese for the 4 international terminals we are doing, including the perishable, 5 perishable, will all be paid through the revenue that will be generated from those particular terminals. The government guarantee, but it will be from the business, and that's why we are saying that aviation is not just a social entity, it is an economic entity that generates fund more than enough to sustain its existence. If you take Dubai for instance, Dubai generates almost 28% of its GDP from aviation. Kenya, Ethiopia generates almost 80% of its GDP from aviation. We should be able to do that. But for us to do that, we must have infrastructure, we must reposition aviation, we must create the auxiliary services that will reposition aviation to the extent that they can be able to do that. And that's why we have the Aerotropolis, and that is why we have the perishable cargoes, 16 of them coming up next quarter. We are at the construction stage now. So all this with this value chain will really be something we should all look forward to.
Okay, thank you very much. As a final word though, when would we have a situation where we can say we're accident free in Nigeria?
In aviation sector, the ultimate, the goal is to be able to be accident free. And so we put all infrastructure, all the training, the capacity building towards accomplishing that. But we are not God. We will do all the preventive. For instance, this year the recommendation we've had so far is 36, and all we have implemented. And so our ultimate goal is to have an accident-free sector. That's our goal.
Okay, thank you very much. We've been speaking with the Honorable Minister of Aviation, Princess Stella Oduah. It's been great having a chat with you. Thank you very much for coming on Sunrise this morning.
Thank you.
So we'll take a short break, and when we come back, Sunrise will continue.